The night Evelyn Carter signed the marriage certificate, rain hammered against the courthouse windows like a warning she chose to ignore. The CEO of a billion-dollar logistics empire had just married Daniel Reed, a quiet single father who packed school lunches and fixed broken fence posts on weekends. Everyone thought it was a strange match, especially her board members who whispered that love had made her careless. Evelyn believed she had finally found something simple and safe in a world that demanded constant strength. What she didn't know was that the man she thought she understood carried a past forged in fire, a past that would soon crash back into their lives with the force of an explosion. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that love can surprise us in the most unexpected ways, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Evelyn Carter had built her life on control. From the day she inherited a struggling company after her father's sudden death, she learned to make decisions without hesitation and to carry the weight of thousands of employees on her shoulders. Her days were filled with glass offices, sharp suits, and late-night board calls. Daniel Reed entered her life quietly, like a pause she didn't know she needed. He was the father of a gentle 8-year-old boy named Lucas, a widower who worked part-time as a school maintenance supervisor and volunteered at the local shelter. He never asked about her wealth, never tried to impress her, and never talked much about his own past. That silence felt peaceful to Evelyn, like standing beside a calm lake after years of storms. Marriage didn't change Daniel much. He still woke early to make breakfast, still walked Lucas to school, still listened more than he spoke. Evelyn admired his steadiness but assumed it came from a simple life. When business pressures mounted and investors questioned her recent merger decisions, she leaned on the idea that at least her home was uncomplicated. Yet cracks began to show in ways she couldn't explain. Daniel slept lightly, sometimes waking before dawn to check doors and windows. Loud noises made his shoulders tense. He avoided fireworks and crowded places, always with a polite excuse. Evelyn noticed but chose not to pry, convincing herself that everyone had their quirks. The first real challenge came when Evelyn's company became the target of a high-profile lawsuit that threatened to dismantle everything she had built. Media vans lined the streets outside their home, reporters shouting questions that pierced even the thickest walls. The pressure was relentless, and for the first time in years, Evelyn felt fear seep into her carefully managed life. She expected Daniel to retreat, to be overwhelmed by the chaos, but instead she saw something different awaken in him. His calm shifted into something sharper, more focused. He planned routes, monitored surroundings, and guided Lucas through the tension with a protective confidence that didn't match the life she thought he'd lived. As weeks passed, Evelyn struggled to balance court hearings, hostile headlines, and a board that was losing faith. At home, she found herself leaning on Daniel more than ever, yet feeling increasingly unsettled by how capable he seemed under pressure. One night, during a security scare when an unknown figure tried to breach their property, Daniel reacted with instinctive precision. He neutralized the threat before private security even arrived, moving with a discipline that left Evelyn shaken. It was no longer possible to believe he was just an ordinary dad. The truth came slowly, not through confrontation but through fragments. A scar glimpsed in the early morning light. A military-style watch worn thin with age. Old documents tucked away in a box Daniel thought no one would ever open. Evelyn learned that Daniel Reed had once been Captain Daniel Reed, a highly decorated special operations officer whose missions were classified and whose losses were buried deep. He had left the military after a mission went wrong, one that cost lives and left him carrying guilt heavier than any medal. He disappeared into civilian life, raising his son after losing his wife to illness, determined to never again be part of a world defined by violence. The revelation hit Evelyn harder than any corporate betrayal. She felt foolish for assuming simplicity meant weakness, and ashamed for never seeing the depth of the man she loved. At the same time, fear crept in. She wondered what else he carried, what dangers might follow him. The strain showed in their marriage as Evelyn pulled back, unsure how to reconcile the gentle father with the soldier forged in secrecy. Daniel sensed the distance but remained patient, giving her space even as the world closed in around them. Everything changed the day the lawsuit escalated into something darker. Evidence emerged suggesting that the legal attack on Evelyn's company was a cover for corporate espionage tied to international criminal networks. Threats turned real. One evening, as Evelyn and Lucas were traveling home, their convoy was forced off the road. In that moment of chaos, Daniel's past came roaring back not as a source of fear, but as a shield. He orchestrated their escape with calm authority, coordinating with authorities and using skills honed under far worse conditions. Evelyn watched him that night and finally understood that his past was not a danger to her life, but the reason it was saved. In the aftermath, as investigations cleared her company and exposed the true villains, Evelyn's reputation was restored. The board praised her resilience, the media shifted its narrative, and the crisis that nearly broke her became a turning point. But the real transformation happened at home. Evelyn learned to see strength not as dominance or control, but as quiet endurance. Daniel opened up about his past, not to glorify it, but to explain the man he had become. His military years had taught him sacrifice, but his family had taught him healing. Just before the ending, please leave a comment sharing what part of this story moved you the most or reminded you of your own life journey. Years later, Evelyn often reflected on how close she had come to losing everything that truly mattered. The CEO who once believed she married an ordinary dad came to understand that extraordinary people often hide in plain sight, choosing love and humility over recognition. Daniel never returned to the battlefield, but he fought every day for his family with the same courage. Lucas grew up watching a father who showed that real heroism meant being present, kind, and steadfast. And Evelyn, once defined solely by titles and success, found her greatest achievement in learning to trust, to soften, and to love without conditions. If this story touched your heart, reminded you of the hidden strength in people around you, or inspired you to believe in second chances and quiet heroes, please engage with this video by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your support helps stories like this reach others who may need hope today.